Hello, hello. Hey, Steve. Be with you in a sec, mate. Just setting up Facebook. No, hang on. Setting up the other one. What's the other one? YouTube. All right. Be with you shortly, guys. Just setting up some stuff on YouTube. We've got a few things to talk about, particularly for the West today, but also something off the FNQ coast for next week. Just give me a second to get this done. Save that and put that on Do Not Disturb. And yes, that's all right. I want to be able to chat with YouTube subscribers and members. So comment on subscribers and members, 1 day minimum subscription, basic, save. All right, and then I'll head over to go live. Beautiful. All right. Alrighty, we're good to go. Hey, and you're saying, not happy, Jan. $1,500 of non-refundable airfares to Darwin this weekend. That'd be right. Yikes. Yikes. But that's all right. Non-refundable fares. That's all right, Deborah. You can go. Hang on. Saturday. They've only got one big day, man. Saturday. Once you get through Saturday, Darwin's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't be too concerned. I know they've got a severe weather warning out for Darwin, and we'll talk about that shortly. But, yeah, I genuinely don't think it's going to be that big an issue, to be honest. I think they're going to get some pretty bad weather tomorrow, but you'll be fine. Man, it's been more than 5 years, more like 10. Damn Facebook. Hey, Blaine, how are you, mate? All right, folks, we've got a fair bit to cover today. So we've got a couple of things we need to cover first. The Darwin area specifically. So we're going to quickly chat about the Darwin area. They've got a pretty big weather event coming over the course of the next 24 hours. So we do need to cover that. And then we need to talk about what that system's going to do longer term. And then we need to go over to Queensland and talk about a low-pressure system that's going to form off the North Queensland coastline and potentially threaten the coast or potentially move southeast, and I'll explain why the potential for both setups exists at the moment. All right. G'day, by the way, my name's Chris Nitzo, and this update brought to you by our major sponsor up there on the top left, Fair Income Builds Townsville. If you're in the market for a shed-safe accredited shed or structure, check them out. And if you'd like to support what we do, we've got a subscription service where I've already told all the members everything I'm telling you. If you go to weatheriq.com.au/subscribe, and it starts at $32.95 a year for all of my forecasts. And then if you want some extra stuff, it costs a little bit extra. But $32.95 gets you all the basics, all of my forecasts, so you're never surprised by the weather. All right. So we've got a little low at the moment. It's located, we'll get stuck in, by the way. We've got a little low located just out the back of Katherine. It's just starting to produce a little bit of weather now. Just in the last hour or two, it started to produce some pretty significant storm activity, fairly lightning active storm activity. Now that system, as I mentioned, is about 320 kilometres southeast of Darwin. It's moving in a northwesterly direction. It's going to continue moving in a northwesterly direction for the rest of tonight, and probably a bit more of a westerly direction through the day tomorrow. And the expectation is that it'll pop off the coast probably around Dundee Beach, maybe a little bit further south of Dundee Beach, by around about tomorrow night. From tomorrow night, the expectation is that it'll probably move in a further westerly direction and probably just off the North Kimberley coastline. We don't expect it to intensify very quickly when it's off the coast. It's not going to be a very well put together system. One of the reasons why we don't expect intensification, even if it was put together well, we still wouldn't have expected much intensification, because one of the things that we're finding is as the cyclone gets off the coast here, we're going to find some pretty significant vertical wind shear off the coast of Darwin. And you can see there that over the next 24 to 48 hours, we're going to see wind shear of 30 to 40 knots of easterly shear. And it's important we understand what this does is it blows the tops off the storms and takes them out to the west. A cyclone needs to have those tops over the top of its circulation centre. It won't do well if the atmosphere is trying to blow the tops off the storms, and so the cyclone can't produce the big storms, all right? So the idea here is going to be, for Darwin especially, you're going to get a lot of weather on the front side before the system gets to the coast. Once the cyclone gets to the coast, we're not anticipating a hell of a lot of weather for you, all right? So once it gets to the coast and gets off the coast, she's all done and dusted. All right, so the idea here is going to be see what you can get on the front end, because the back end ain't going to do much for you. All right, so that comes because of this vertical wind shear. All right, so all of the storms that are developing around Katherine, Katherine's all right because they're just south of that shear. But as the cyclone moves northwestwards, you know what I mean when I say cyclone by now, I hope. We're talking about a low, all right? So as the low moves northwestwards, the idea is that it's going to encounter this increasing easterly shear. And as it encounters that increasing easterly shear, it's going to produce all of the weather on the western side. So this is going to stop Darwin from getting the worst of it. Because A, this Darwin will only get bad weather on the front side of the low. B, the low is only just now starting to put itself together. So this means that by the time it gets to Darwin, it won't have fully put itself together, and it won't be a really strong system. So yes, there's a severe weather warning, and yes, there is a real chance there that we do get some severe weather through Darwin. Am I really concerned about Darwin? Not really, no. You've survived much worse than this. So the idea is that easterly shear is going to make sure that the system stays relatively weak until about Sunday, Monday, by which we expect the system to be off the North Kimberley coastline anyway by that stage. And so even though the shear does start to decrease, the cyclone won't be here anymore. So it'll be further to the west and south. And when we talk about further to the west and south, and we'll go there shortly, but you'll notice that the environment over Western Australia is a lot more favourable for our tropical cyclone. Okay, so once it gets out here, the atmosphere is going to really support its development. That's a bad thing. It's going to really support its development. So if it can find open water, and there's no 100% guarantee that it will, but if it can, we're certainly looking at the possibility of something very, very strong developing out here off the coastline. More on that in our Sunday broadcast when we make sure that the system can find open water, because there's no point talking about that now if the cyclone doesn't find open water and sort of perches itself over the North Kimberley and the Mitchell Plateau. All right, so if it can find open water out here, this is a beautiful environment for the tropical cyclone to intensify, and we will know Sunday night if the system's going to find open water, because by Sunday night it should be somewhere around or just to the northwest of Columbaroo. All right, so that's why we'll wait till then, and then we'll discuss intensities in more detail and why we think it might be as strong as it could be. End result should be a system that comes back at the coast. More on the track shortly. I just want to focus on Darwin for another couple of minutes and just have a look at exactly the sort of conditions we can expect over Darwin and when we can expect the worst of it. All right, so kicking off, we can see, I'm just going to get rid of the bombs overlay here. All right, so kicking off, we can see not much going on right now, but overnight tonight, we expect to see some showers popping up, squally showers starting to pop up around the Darwin City area. And we're just going to zoom a little bit closer so we got a few place names in here. Right, so we can see a couple of showers developing. Showers and thunderstorms to the west of the cyclone, west of Katherine particularly, as we go through the overnight period, because remember that wind shear, the storm's going to try, or the cyclone's going to try and produce those storms over the middle of it. Won't be able to because the shear will keep taking them to the west. So that's why heaviest falls west of the cyclone centre. Now, as we go into tomorrow morning, we're going to see that shower and rain area thicken up on the western side of the low. Where's the low tomorrow morning? The low tomorrow morning should still be pretty close to Katherine. Where's all the rain? West of Katherine. So you can see, where's all of our rain? West. Why? Wind shear. All right, so as we continue, at 9:30 to 3:30, you can see there's a pretty solid clump of rainfall there from Port Keats all the way to the northern parts of Darwin, even up to the Tiwis. Where's our low tomorrow afternoon? Probably a little bit further west or northwest of Katherine. Might be a little bit further northwest than what the model's suggesting there. As we go into 9:30, our low is pushing up towards Adelaide River. And we can see, where's our rain? Our rain is now starting to move west of Darwin. Why is our rain moving west of Darwin? Wind shear. All right, so as we continue, we can see that as we go into the overnight period, Saturday night, Sunday morning, heavy rain, mostly west of Darwin, out into the Joseph Bonaparte and out into the ocean areas, down around Port Keats, down further to the south as well, into that Joseph Bonaparte coastline and through Columbaroo. How far away is Columbaroo from the centre at that time? A long way. And they're getting probably just as intense weather as Darwin is. All right, so this goes to show how important that vertical shear component is going to be in the convective setup of this system. So a lot of the deep thunderstorms, if not all the deep thunderstorms, are likely to be on the western side of the circulation and not necessarily close to the western side of the circulation. All right, so as we continue, we can see 9:30, 12:30 on Sunday, all of our heavy rain is now out to sea. Where's our low? Our low on Sunday is basically on the coast. What's Darwin getting? Not much. All right, so the idea here will be that wind shear component taking all of the deep convection away to the west. Darwin's, sure, they're picking up still a few showers and storms, right? We're not saying there's nothing there, but we're saying that this isn't going to be the massive weather event that you might think it's going to be. All right, so just make sure that you temper your expectations, or you're going to be a little bit disappointed or relieved, whichever side of the fence you sit on. All right, so as we continue into Sunday night, Monday morning, we see all of our heavy rain now out towards Columbaroo. Sunday night, we'll be chatting again. So on Sunday night, where do we expect the low? Somewhere around to the north of Columbaroo, Sunday night, Monday morning. I think might be a little bit slow on this model, but generally speaking, we should see it somewhere to the north of Columbaroo. And remember, we're not getting much weather over Darwin at that stage, all right, because all of the deep convection is being sheared off to the west. All right, as we continue, we see all of that heavy rain pushing out west. This is just shower and thunderstorm activity. That's just the general top-end stuff that starts to develop over Darwin later on. All right, so nothing there that we need to be worried about. Our severe weather threat across the top end is pretty high over the next 24 hours and probably 24 to 36 hours. So if we take a look at the sweat index is something we look for when we're looking at where severe weather is most likely, and we can see over the next sort of 24 hours, this northwest top end appears to be the area, and so too around Port Keats. That appears to be an area of potential severe weather over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours, and this is why you have a severe weather warning for the area. All right, but notice once again, we're really looking at that western side of the circulation. Come Sunday morning, where's our circulation? Our circulation is very close to Darwin, but all of the big weather is out here on the western side. Now, that's not to say we can't get a couple of squally showers and thunderstorms, and that's the next thing we need to discuss, right? We need to discuss winds. Wind speeds are going to be very, very high here. We're going to see winds getting up to 40 to 50 knots in offshore waters to start with, and then there's a chance there that, especially at squalls overnight early in the morning, we're going to see the possibility, I think, Saturday night, Sunday morning, more so than tomorrow morning. Saturday night, Sunday morning is when we would see the potential there for damaging winds in offshore areas especially. So you can see here we're getting up to 40 to 45 knots in those offshore areas. Notice where's our low here. What's Darwin getting? 20 to 30 knot gusts. All right, so not really a factor there for Darwin until the cyclone moves to the west. Now, here's where you might get tricked up. Remember how I said all the big weather, the big rain is on the western side? And now I'm telling you, you're going to get a bit of wind on the eastern side, right? So the big weather doesn't always correspond with the big wind, all right? So just be aware here that our big weather is on the northwestern side of the system, and that's including big winds and big rain. but we also get some gusty winds with a couple of squally showers coming in on that northeastern side. All right, so just because the system moves to your west, and we know that it's got a lot of wind shear over it, doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get some strong winds on the backside. It just means we're not expecting to see heavy rain on the backside. Okay, so when you're on the eastern side, you're still going to get quite a bit of wind, especially if the cyclone moves just to your south. All right, so that's something you've got to be aware of for Darwin. That'll continue through, those gusty winds will continue through to Sunday night, Monday morning, and then they'll contract further to the west. Now, you do notice that the cyclone does take its sweet time over the Joseph Bonaparte area and in the Timor Sea. It's not exactly wanting to motor away to the west. So it will stay there for an extended period of time. And as we go into Sunday and Monday, one of the things you'll notice here is that wind shear that we keep harping on about. See how the wind shear starts to drop off as we go to Sunday, Monday. So there may be an intensification process as that wind shear drops off if it finds itself closer to the North Kimberley rather than East Timor. So if it finds itself down here, there's actually a chance there that it intensifies. All right, so that's our low, and that's its motion through Darwin or through south of Darwin, and then its motion out to the Timor. All right, so important that we get it. So what do we learn? We learnt that we're going to get most of our rain on the front side of the cyclone because we're getting that easterly wind shear. So all of the big rain before the system gets to the coast. Once the system gets to the coast, we're going to move away from rain areas and thunderstorms to squally showers coming onto the coast. Beyond that, we could actually see some of our strongest winds over Darwin Harbour and Darwin City on the backside of the system, even without the really heavy rain. Okay, so the heavy rain and the strongest winds for Darwin may not necessarily match up. Okay, so really, really important. Important to understand that. All right. Now let's talk about the future of this system. So the big problem we've got here is, see this part where it just stuffs around after it pushes past Darwin? See how it just stuffs around here? Now some of the models want to finish it there. All right, because it stuffs around for so long, it stuffs around, relatively speaking, so long, a couple of days, right? So if it stuffs around for a couple of days, there's a chance there that eventually it sort of hits the land. And if it hits the land, it then might move inland a bit more. And so some of the models just want to say, you know what, that's where we'll leave it. So not all the models then do the next part, which takes it out to sea or keeps it out to sea and then brings it into the Pilbara. So let's use the about 70 to 75% of models that do that, and let's have a look at those for a guide on what's going to happen beyond that. Bear with me while I get the right modelling up. Okay, so what we're seeing here, and down on the bottom part of your screen there, you can see the time. We're doing Tuesday there. We're doing Wednesday there. So see how we've lost a lot of models there. We haven't got a lot of them that have picked this system up yet. All right, so there's a fair bit of doubt about whether the system will even get this far offshore. But if it does, then we're in business for the next part. So what is the next part? The next part is a westerly motion until about Thursday. On Thursday, what's going to happen is different steering patterns take shape over the Southeast Indian Ocean, and the system will come in towards the coastline from Thursday. From Thursday, not before. So the system should be moving away from the coastline, or at worst parallel to the coastline, until Thursday. On Thursday, there's a few different pattern changes in the mid-levels of the atmosphere that will drive the system back to the south or southeast. Now, we've got good confidence in that part. We don't have good confidence about this bit. This bit here, where it stuffs around off the coast of Darwin, we don't have great confidence that it's going to get out there. All right. If it does get out there, then we're pretty confident about where it'll sort of come through and change direction. The Euro model's probably the most confident out of all of them about this westerly motion. And notice here, even in the Euro model, even with all of its confidence, there's still a number of computer models that don't get the system offshore. All right, that stuff it around off the coast of Darwin, bring it down into the Kimberley. So it is important to understand this is not a done deal, and that's why we want to wait till Sunday night before we start talking about and gibbering about where the system might cross and how strong it might be, because there's still about a 20 to 30% risk that it doesn't even make it this far out, okay? There's only about a 70% chance that it exists out here. So it's really important that we play the probability game, and the probability game says, yeah, sure, we're probably looking at a cyclone off the northwest coast, and then we're almost certainly looking at that cyclone coming down into the northwest coast. But what forward speed is it going to be? How close to the Kimberley is it going to be? We know that Thursday is D-Day for the system to start changing direction. Right, so where is the system going to be on Thursday? And you can see on Thursday, we have a system that could be as far out as this way out here, and we have a system that could be already in the North Kimberley and pushing down into the Central Territory. So do you see the problem that we've got? And this is the most aggressive and confident model of this cyclone. So you can see just how many solutions we have, and the model average approach brings the system onto the coast around 80 Mile Beach. All right, but the big problem that we're going to face there is once the cyclone gets off the coast, assuming it doesn't just sort of sit and die near the North Kimberley and it continues moving west, the problem is going to be how strong, because there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of really nice environmental conditions out there off the northwestern coastline. And you can see here, there's quite a number of Category 4, Category 5 intensity impacts on the coastline there. So that's probably the primary concern once we can establish, if we can establish, that the system's going to miss the coast here and not sort of stuff around the North Kimberley. And we won't be able to establish that until probably Sunday night when we chat. All right, but I do need to draw to your attention that the environment here is highly, highly favourable and highly violent for a tropical cyclone to intensify very quickly in this area. And that's what's being reflected in a majority of computer models that take this system out to sea. But there's still only a 70% chance of it going out to sea. And as I said, depending on its forward speed, we just can't narrow it down. At the moment, we can't say anything except for Carnarvon to probably the King Sound area, right? I mean, that's pretty useless, isn't it? So the idea is we need to wait, give it a few days. We're going to have plenty of time. Hey, listen, it's not going to sneak up on us. We know it's going to change direction, all right? We know that. There's no need to panic and stress about it changing direction. We know it's going to happen. But we don't know where it's going to be when it happens, all right? So until we can figure that part out, where it's going to be when it happens, I don't think it's any point trying to sort of pinpoint and pick out and try and sort of nail exactly who it's going to hit and when it's going to hit them, all right? So just to be clear, we're firstly not sure if the system's going to get through this area to start with, all right? There's about a 70% chance it gets through this area, and then we're in business for the rest of it. 30% chance that we come back to you Sunday night and say, hey, listen, it's not going to go past the North Kimberley. It's just going to come down here into the inland, and away we go, all done and dusted. All right? There's a 30% chance we're going to do that Sunday night. 70% chance we're going to say, hey, look out. There's something big coming. All right? So that's our percentage chances on Sunday. Or that's where we should be able to go Sunday. We should be able to either get that to 100%, and then we can start looking at where it goes, or we say, nothing to worry about, enjoy the rain. Okay? So that's where we are with this one, folks. Let's have a quick look at the Coral Sea one. There's another one out here that's going to form. Oh, firstly, let's have a look at this little gibber over here. All right. This one's pretty basic, all right? Straight away, we know what it's going to do. We've known this for about a week now. There's no surprises. It's still moving northwards. It'll move northwards for probably another day or so, and then it's going to start moving westwards just a little bit. Don't freaking panic, just a little bit, and maybe 100k to the west, and then straight away south-southeast, 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 and more south-southeast. So it gets to Norfolk probably around Wednesday or Thursday, so more likely Wednesday based on the latest modelling there, and then gets to New Zealand on, what day is that? probably Thursday, really accelerates as it extratropical transitions. It won't be a tropical cyclone by the time it gets to New Zealand, but it'll be getting there as a fairly strong extratropical low, I would assume. So make sure you're paying attention to the meteorological agencies in New Zealand. And for Norfolk Island, the big thing you've got to worry about there is a system that pushes just to your west. All right, so a lot of the wind field of this is going to be on the eastern side of the circulation. So if you're west of the circulation, no problems. But most of the guidance here is pushing the cyclone just west of Norfolk Island. And if that is the case, then you do have some problems. All right, that eastern side is going to be the strong side. And as I say, at this stage, it looks like a Wednesday afternoon, evening type impact if we're using the model average. Hopefully it'll be this far away, which means that you won't be in the centre part or the destructive part, and you might only get sort of the gales on the eastern edge. All right. We see pretty good agreement there in the model guidance. It's a pretty tight spread. I think the Euro model continues to drive it a lot further to the east. Yeah, it does. Obviously, this is a really good scenario for Norfolk Island. Most of the model members here are taking it east, but Euro's been a little bit off the ball with this one so far, so we'll take that with a grain of salt, and we'll see how it performs. And the high-res model, does it have it at all? Yeah, so see the high-res model? It has the system a lot closer to Norfolk Island, so excuse me. We've got a system a lot closer to Norfolk there coming through on that Wednesday as well. So you can see that reflected there. At this stage, looks as though it's a Category 2 at Norfolk, which hopefully, fingers crossed, it's that week. Most of the other guidance is suggesting something a bit stronger. All right, so that's that one. And let's have a quick look at this next North Queensland one. For those of you that are unaware, we spoke about this one last night, 2 nights ago, preliminarily. I didn't have much information back then, so we got a bit more information about this one now, today. So the expectation, Tuesday, little circulation, starts around just south of Weipa, tracks eastwards, gets off the coast here around Cape Melville to sort of Lockhart River, let's say Cooktown to Lockhart River, and that gets off the coast around Wednesday. Now, this part here becomes extremely important for the Coral Sea system, is out of these model members, these ones here, we're not too concerned about, because even if these ones start to move in a southerly direction, they're going to miss the coast. The ones that concern us are the ones that just move a touch off the coast and then hug the coast for a little while, because we know that at some point this cyclone will likely move in a more southerly direction. And if it's really close to the coastline when it's doing that, there's a chance there at an impact on the coastline. So do you see, once again, we've got some potential of an impact on the coastline. The vast majority, and the model average tells us that the system will pass harmlessly to the east of the coastline, but pretty close at times, and that's the model average right there, okay? So the expected track is more of a Z track. So you see it go eastwards initially, then you see it sort of come down to the south, and then you'll see it go eastwards again. All right, now the problem is, how far does the first little part of the Z go? Does it go, is it a big long Z, or is it a short Z? And then we come down from there, right? So it's very, very difficult at the moment to figure that out. As I say, nothing to be concerned about for the most part for now, but just something to be aware of, and alarm bells on Wednesday. If the system doesn't want to move southeast quickly, or east quickly, that's when the alarm bell should be going. Hey, hang on, NITSO said it's going to move south at some stage on Thursday or Friday, and that's what it will do. But as I say, there's a big difference. If it starts moving south from there, that's straight over the top of what's at Bowen, all right? If it starts moving south from there, it's getting very close to Mackay. If it starts moving south from out here, no one cares. All right, it's too far offshore. So really important that we're aware that there's a little bit of a Z shape to the forecast of this system. And I won't go into the technicalities of what's steering it, because that's something we do for the subscribers. But the idea here is that we do get a bit of a Z-shaped process in the forecast track at the moment. And it is important that we're very aware of where the system exits the coast, how fast does it move east to start with, because we know that at some point later in the week, it'll push southwards for a bit. A bit is probably a whole day, maybe a day and a bit. And then it'll start moving eastwards again. So we're not looking at this as being a rain producer for inland Queensland. So for those of you who are thinking, oh shit, we're going to get another truck ton of rain, that's not the plan here. The plan would be whether or not it'll nudge the coast before it buggers off out to the east. All right, that's the plan at the moment. That's what we're trying to figure out. Is it going to nudge the coast before it buggers off to the east, or is it just going to, push eastwards too far, just annoy us with a bit of wind and wave, and then push away to the east, away from the coastline? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Timing, for those of you wondering about times, we're probably looking at the low initialising as a weak sort of trophy type thing around south of Weipa or in the middle of the Cape. Around about Tuesday, getting off the coast Tuesday night, Wednesday, starting to spin up properly Wednesday night, Thursday, and then on Thursday we're expecting to see a southward motion, probably the back half of Thursday, looking at a southward motion. And once again, how far off the coast are we? Are we out here? No problems. Are we in here? Alarm bells. All right. As we go through Thursday, and then on Thursday, we start moving southwards. Friday, we continue moving southwards. Saturday, sometime over the weekend, we think Saturday, could be Sunday though. Sometime over the weekend, we expect to see a very sharp eastward motion. All right, so that's the plan with this system. Now, for those of you Queenslanders who are getting Jasper PTSD things, don't. This is nothing like Jasper. Even if he does come through the Cape, the expectation in this setup is that, I'll just give you a quick look at what I'm talking about here, and we'll use the Cooktown overlay because we should get most of this rubbish in there. All right, so in here, so using the Cooktown overlay, what we're looking for here is the sort of wind environment. So there's our little circulation, just the sort of start of it. It's more so a bit of a trough there, isn't it? And you can see there, it sort of comes off the coast. What day is that? Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, exactly what I said. Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, listen, down here, for those of you in the Daintree, Cairns district who are going, oh shit, it's another Jasper. No, it's not. Because what we've got here is a very dry southeasterly coming through. And the reason it's dry is because we've got a cyclone, remember? There's another cyclone going out towards New Zealand at the same time. So that's circulating a lot of dry air up the state. And so because of that, we're not actually anticipating a lot of heavy rain from this thing to the south of it. All right. So unlike most Queensland cyclones where we get all of our heavy rain to the south, this one, at least in its initial stages, won't have much rain on the south side. All of the big rain will be up here on the Cape. So places like Weipa, Bamaga, Torres Strait, they're going to see a truck ton of rain from this thing. All right. On the northern side though, not the southern side. Now, if it comes back towards the coast, in this particular model, you'll notice that the structure changes, and you do see, once it gets southwards, you do see that the structure changes to more of that structure that we're used to, all right? And the structure we're used to is the south side getting the rain. But that's only once the cyclone starts moving southwards, all right? That structure change happens out to sea when it starts moving southwards. When it's first coming off the coast, and that's the part that would stress the Cairns residents out, because that's obviously the part that creates the big rain in Jasper. We're seeing no evidence of heavy rain on the south side. And just to be clear there, having a look here at the Cairns district in particular, these are the sorts of rainfalls that we can experience on the south side. So this is all showers and thunderstorms for the next couple of days, all right? Bit of a clearance there, and then here's where the cyclone starts its first stages of putting itself together. Now you'll notice all that yellow stuff up here around Weipa. No yellow stuff in Cairns, is there? All right, and that's on Tuesday, and then as we go through Wednesday, notice no big rain in Cairns at all. All right, so absolutely nothing to stress out about from a rainfall perspective here in the far north tropical coastline. Okay, absolutely nothing for you there. All right, the rainfall prospect and that change in structure happens right now. What day is that? Thursday. By Thursday, it's well out to sea. How far out to sea is very important. If it's only this far out to sea, it's going to move south from there, all right? So that puts it down around Bowen Mackay. All right. If it's a little further out to sea, well, even if it moves south from there, no problems. All righty. So that's where we are at the moment with this one, folks. Right. Now I do have to let you know once again, give myself a plug here. We're not government funded. We're only funded by the generous support of our subscribers. So if you would like these forecasts, so everything I've told you today has already been told to the subscribers. In fact, they were told about this stuff yesterday. So the idea is, if you want all the forecasts I give out every day during the wet season, it's $32.95 a year, folks. This doesn't break a bank. It helps us a lot. If you want everything that we got, including all the graphics and stuff like that, it's $69.95 a year. All right, and once again, thanks to our generous sponsors up there on the top left, Fair Income Builds. All right, so I'm going to go to questions now. Firstly, I'll check. Check any. What have we got here on YouTube? No, just wanted to check if we've got any super chats on YouTube. Yep, beauty, none there. All right, fantastic. Okay, let's go through. Deborah, hey Nitso, not happy. Oh, yeah, the $1,500. Hey, listen, as I said to you, Darwin's most intense weather in terms of rainfall before the low gets there. So tomorrow will be Darwin's most intense, even into tomorrow night. And then Sunday, when the low is offshore off Darwin, we're probably going to see some squally winds and some squally showers. I wouldn't be overly concerned about Darwin, Deborah. They've seen a lot worse, mate, and they've seen a lot worse this year already with that other cyclone, Fina. Hey Nitso, happy Friday. Have a beer for you. On you, Steve. Kia ora, following from New Zealand. Oh, Steph, yeah, keep watching that little cyclone, mate. Getting to you on Thursday, I would suspect, in New Zealand, but we don't know where. North Island, central part. Yeah, we're not sure. So make sure you check out your meteorological agency for details on that. Amy, hey from Mariba. Hey, Amy, some nice storms around Mariba over the next couple of days. It's been a bit quiet up there, but don't worry, it'll start going off for the next couple of days. All is quiet on the Pentland front. That's good, Zabinator. I'm sure there's a lot of Charters Towers folk playing in the Goldfield Ashes tonight. That'll be very happy about that. Zane, follow this guy and watch this. No worries. Thanks, Ian. Melita, Lauren, people are just tagging people. Cool. What do you think about 17U? Not sure what 17U is, Liz. What have they labelled 17U? Liz has asked, what do I think about 17U? Let me just go and check out the Bureau of Meteorology site because I don't know what they've labelled what. I've got a feeling the 17U is going to be the one we just discussed, right? I've got a feeling. I'm not sure, though. I don't know what labels they give to what things. What's 17U? 17U. Is that the one off Queensland? Yeah. Liz, we just spent 15 minutes on that, man. I won't go through that again. Have a look back, mate, and have a look at what my thoughts are. Sorry for the dramas with the Cyclone page, guys. Should be all sorted. Oh, Spider. Oh, that's Dom. The Bomb were having a few issues with their server. That's a shock to no one. Do you think Darwin will experience another cyclone this season? Oh, Lauren, that's a difficult question, man. Very difficult question. I can't give you an answer to that, eh? It's, yeah, I'm not sure, mate. You know, I mean, if the conditions were better for this one and there wasn't so much wind shear, Darwin would experience a cyclone tomorrow. But you know, that's the sort of question where I could give you an answer and I'm just bullshitting you. I don't like doing that. Zabinator gifted 1 Weather IQ membership. Cool. On you, Zab. Cherie, you're a legend. Thanks, Cherie. Richard, do you think we will get a drink down in the Pilbara? Yeah, Rich, mate, hard to say. Let's just wait. Ask me that question Sunday night. We'll have a better idea at whether someone in the Pilbara will get a drink. We probably still won't know Sunday night who in the Pilbara will get a drink, but someone will if the system is out to sea. Don't know if the gift went out. The winner should have popped up straight away. Okay. No, I haven't. Okay, no. Oh, yeah, it did. There you go. EDN Nurse, 60. Good on you. Good on you, Zabinator. Got a, yeah, good on you, mate. Oh, I think you meant you gifted a YouTube membership. Yeah, so the YouTube membership's like a sort of a taster of what we offer. So on the YouTube, we've got a membership service. And when you've had a month there, so we only sort of encourage people to be there for a month and then decide, do you want to stay with us and get the full membership? Which then you get like a, what, so you pay, I think it's $14.95 for a month on YouTube. And then we give you $10 bucks back off if you want to take a proper membership out. So it ends up costing you $5 for the actual membership, because you get $10 off the actual yearly one. But they only get in the YouTube membership, they only get sort of the really important videos. So they get the North Oz, the Queensland Weather Week, and any major weather going on in any areas. So all the ones I usually highlight in red, they go into the YouTube membership. The YouTube membership isn't the full set of videos that we give to all the subscribers, but it is a little taster, and then people can go, "Hey, Nitso, we like your shit. Can we join your website?" And then I go, "Yeah, here's $10 off. Go nuts." All right. Good on you, Zab. That's awesome. Is it going to hit Atherton? Is what going to hit Atherton, Rachel? There's nothing in the world right now that's hitting Atherton, except for maybe a couple of storms in the next couple of days, man. Tatiana, big thanks for your updates from Norfolk Island. Yeah, keep an eye on this one out there, Norfolk. Yeah, Wednesday, looking like it's going to get very, very close. It might not be a tropical cyclone. It might have changed into an extra tropical cyclone, but still going to give you some pretty big effects, eh? So keep an eye out on that. Raphilia, Alex, any update on the Coral Seas, the current system in New Caledonia? Yeah, mate, we talked about that one. Heading southeastwards, down towards Norfolk Island, and then New Zealand. Rachel, thanks, Nitso. Good information as always. No worries, Rach. Any severe thunderstorms forecast tomorrow, Saturday, Wide Bay and Burnett? No, I don't think so. I think that was one of the places in the state. In fact, in Northern Australia, it was boring me. It's hard to get out of bed and do weather updates for areas that bore me. It really is. But I do it for you guys. I do it for the subscribers. They support us, and they support us for a year, and half the year is boring for us anyway. Let's have a look, Bundy. I don't think there was anything there that I was wowing about. Was there anything in Southeast Queensland? I think Southeast Queensland was a bit of a beat up today too. A bunch of pages were beating that up. Yeah, there's a little bit of rubbish storm activity there. All right, so going back, sorry, mate, I got sidetracked. Right, what are we looking, Wide Bay? I don't think so. I don't think there was anything major coming that way. When we did the forecast today for that area, I was very unenthused. Let's just say that. Let's have a look. Okay, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. Oh, well, maybe a bit on the Burnett. Oh, is that half decent stuff, or is that just rubbish? Let's have a look. I think when I was looking at this earlier today, it was just rubbish, right? It was just sort of convective shower activity, more so than any severe thunderstorms. Yeah, there they are. Convective showers, maybe some sort of weakish thunderstorms. Yeah, there's nothing there that makes me go wow about that. Let's have a look. Severe weather threat. I can't imagine. No, nothing. No, man, we're looking at, convective shower. Look, there's going to be a couple of storms about, right? But there's not much chop about them. Thunderstorm steering winds. No, man. No, nothing there that makes me excited about the Wide Bay Burnett. Couple of showers, maybe a storm. Good luck if you get those. Middle of the wet season, you expect better. All right, rain damn it. Lots of thunder here in Biliana at the moment. FNQ, yep. Expecting to see more stuff up there over the course of the next couple of days. Yep, Mackay copping some storms, absolutely. And still stinking hot in Cairns, says Stacey. Some good chances for some storms around Cairns over the next couple of days, Stacey, so fingers crossed for you. That'll be great. Feels like I'm living in a sauna, says Amy. Hey, Nitso from SEQ. Hey, Sass. Steve, nice rain in the Burdekin. Yeah, there has been, mate. I hear about the jet stream influence the Queensland low. Wouldn't that have more merit if the cyclone formed, as upper winds would have more control? Dan, this is something we discuss in the subscription service, Dan. But let's have a look. I don't want to alienate a bunch of people with a bunch of technical stuff. So if we're just looking at this upcoming, I think you're talking. Are you talking the Queensland cyclone? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what we're looking at here, mate, is different levels of the atmosphere. Now, in our subscription service, we have steering winds for lows and troughs and steering winds for cyclones, right? Deep convective systems. And these are steered by different areas. So obviously at the Cat 4-5 level, when you're talking about the jet stream, you're talking about the 300 hectopascal. That's too high. The jet stream won't steer a cyclone. The jet stream will certainly excite the atmosphere below it, which can then steer the cyclone, but the jet stream itself won't steer the cyclone. It's too high up. So the idea here is that if the system was, let's say, quite strong, so what we can see there is that there's no real jet stream as such that's going to steer this cyclone. What we're actually seeing is a mid-level ridge to the east. All right, this thing here. See this high over there, right on the eastern edge of your screen? That's what steers the cyclone to the south. Now, if the cyclone is weaker, we expect that mid-level ridge influence to be more of a south-southeasterly one. If the cyclone is stronger, we expect to see that ridge be more of a southerly to south-southwesterly one. So see, the cyclone will basically try and move or manoeuvre along those streamlines. So it'll move south-southeast, south, and then south-southwest into the coast. All right? And then what happens is that mid-level ridge repositions. So see how it repositions, and suddenly we move back to the east, and that happens over the weekend. All right, mate? So that's why we expect the zigzag shape. So we expect the out to the east, down to the south, out to the east. All right, Dan? As I say, mate, we do a lot of that stuff. We talk about a lot of that stuff in the subscription service. So if you are interested in the technicalities, join me there and have a chat about it in there. All right, Wyndham WA bomb radar is buggered. They reckon 3 months. Oh, shit, you're kidding. Anyway, I can't, you know, I understand technical issues with radars, and Wyndham's a long way away. It's very difficult. Yeah, but that sucks, man, especially when there's a low pressure system. There's going to be some heavy rain around there. You know, most likely just offshore, thankfully. But still, you'd like to get some sort of picture of what's going on, wouldn't you? Bianca, hello. You make it so easy to understand. Thank you. Thanks for watching, Bianca. I'm headed to the WIQ Sundays on Sunday for 3 days. Nah, man, go and enjoy yourself. Beautiful time of the year. Get out there on the Airlie Beach. Lovely. Get out in that little lagoon thing they got. Beautiful. Just enjoy the day. Sip on a couple of margaritas. You'll love it. Kurt Christie, Harrison, raining here in Marion. When will it let up? Probably sometime tonight, I would suggest. So let's have a quick look. Mackay, Marion's west of Mackay. I don't think we've got too much going on here for the next few days, to be honest. So what do we got right now? Yeah, some pretty heavy stuff there. Weakening as it got to Mackay. That'd be right. Yeah, so most of the heavy stuff looks like it's trying to sort of. Let's try a shorter time frame. Yeah, so most of the heavy stuff now moving sort of west and northwest of Mackay. So we're on the final stages of this rainfall for the Mackay district, I would think. I'll just have a quick look here. I'm pretty confident about that. I think we'll see more things move up towards Townsville tomorrow, and then even further north of Townsville tomorrow. Yeah, you can see tomorrow afternoon you get a shower or storm around, but yeah, pretty slim pickings for the Mackay region for the next few days after today, I think. Yeah, just very isolated activity. And then, of course, we're watching end of next week what that cyclone does, eh? When we take a look at the high-resolution model for the Mackay district, you'll see... Yeah, so you can see there some heavyish rain for the next couple of hours. There it is there, 6, 7, 8 p.m. It starts to break up 8 p.m. and then, yeah, still a little bit to go, particularly sort of northwest of Mackay through the night time. And then into tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow it's more about the Whit Sundays Townsville district, I'd imagine. Let's have a look. Yeah, once we zoom out, you can see it's all about the Whitsundays, Townsville area as we go into tomorrow afternoon and evening. Very little going on around Mackay tomorrow, mate. So enjoy that rain because it's the last you're going to get for a while. Just be aware, there's going to be a couple of isolated showers and maybe a storm on the range, okay? All right. So that was for Kirsty Harrison. Lakey, supposed to be flying to Broome this Sunday for lunch. Yeah, I don't see why that... Listen, one of the things you got to understand that Sunday is, 2 days away. This thing's going to be north of Columbaroo. Broome's going to get 2/5 of bugger all. While this thing's so far up there, mate... Broome might see a gusty storm just because they've got a very sharp and strong southeasterly steer. But, man, you're not going to see anything, nothing that's going to stop you flying. No way in the world. Yeah, there it is there. A couple of little gusty storms. Just, yeah, Sunday, there's literally nothing going on around Broome. Yeah, you got to remember, WA cyclones aren't like Queensland cyclones, right? They're very localised phenomena. They're very regional things. You know, you get a cyclone in Queensland coming onto the coast from the east, and you know you got a stretch of 500 to 1,000 k's of coastline getting some weather, whether that's extreme rainfall, whether that's squally showers, whether that's big winds. WA's not like that. WA, we might get a couple of 100 k's of the coast. There's been times where cyclones have hit Port Hedland, and you could be 50k west of Port Hedland. You wouldn't even know on a cyclone got there. It's a little bit different on the eastern side. The eastern side usually has a couple of 100 k's of weather. The western side usually has almost no k's of weather. Like, if you're more than about 20 k's away from the thing, you don't even know it's there. That tends to happen quite frequently with WA, and they're very small cyclones. They're much smaller than Queensland cyclones. So just because we've got a cyclone up at Columbaroo or north of Columbaroo, Broome will get nothing out of that. Broome might get a gusty storm associated with the strong southeasterly steering mechanisms on the south side of the cyclone, but they would have been there anyway. All right, and Broome got a great storm overnight early this morning. Nothing to do with the cyclone. It was a great storm because the environment was conducive, and the environment's still conducive. There's a lot of dry air, strong wind shear, strong mid-level winds. So yeah, there's good opportunities for Broome to get a storm, mate, but nothing there that I'll be worried about. Australia Day weekend in Cairns, wet? No idea. Michelle, can't tell you. Absolutely can't tell you. I would suspect that any heavy rain from that low and cyclone that we're discussing is probably east and south of you, but I genuinely can't tell you. I can't be certain on that, mate, about Cairns. You need to wait, and we need to figure out what happens with this low, and then we might be able to give you something a bit more intelligent than we got no idea. Probably not even by Sunday night. Maybe tune in Tuesday night. Ask me then. Mike, full membership is 100% worth it. Thanks, Mike. Folks, weatheriq.com.au/subscribe. There it is there, $32.95. That's just for the basic stuff. Full membership is $69.95, and that gets you all the graphics and stuff as well that I'm using through tonight. Thanks, Mike. Hey, Nitso, thanks for the update, man. I'm currently sweating it out in Rocky. Yeah, good news there for you, Rusty, is there's not much more rain for Rocky to come in the next X number of days, man. So, yeah, nothing much going on there, mate. Feed, can we upgrade subscription from basic to iWall at all? Yeah, mate, you should be able to do that through... So if you go here, admin... oh, no, hang on. No, you go here, profile, account... You get onto your account settings. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, so that's the expectation there, mate. You'll be able to go through subscriptions. And I'm an admin, so I run the show, so I don't have a subscription. So, but you should be able to go subscription, and then there should be an opportunity there to what's the name? Get what do you call it? Upgrade, downgrade if you want. Yeah, should be able to do that. And if that's too difficult, just send us an email at support@weatheriq.com.au, and we'll let Dom handle it for you. Right. Nori, I'm seriously considering upgrading to the full membership. That's awesome, Nori. That's awesome. I hope you do. But yeah, that's how you can do it yourselves. Otherwise, send us an email and Dom will sort that out for you. It's prorated too. So if if you've been 3 months on the other membership and you want to go to the subscription, it's not the full extra price. It's like whatever 9 months of that extra price would be. Raylene, Raylene, hello. I saw something about the West Coast forming a low around the 20th up near the Pilbara. Or was I seeing things? No, mate. We've been talking. That's been the one thing we've been talking about a lot today. Go back to the first 20 minutes. Bron, thanks Nitzo. Fizzer, Southeast Queensland coast, except for massive traffic issues. Only had 12 millimetres. Yeah, I genuinely when I started to I did the forecast this morning for Southeast Queensland, and I just wanted to put toothpicks in my eyes. It was that boring. Like I looked at it and I thought, oh, this could have potential. And then I looked at it and I was in like real time as I was doing the forecast, as I was watching what was going on, and I just wanted to put toothpicks in my eyes. I just looked at it and going, oh, it's one of those days for Southeast Queensland. I think there was a bit of drizzle this morning. It was just garbage. It was just rubbish. And there's been so many of those days in Southeast Queensland where they've just been so promising and then they just turn into rubbish. And that was exactly what happened. Right, and I think I told the subscribers I'm done. I'm done with Southeast Queensland. I'm combining them and Central Queensland because they're both as boring as each other for the next couple of days. Beautiful, steady, heavy rain in Tolga right now. That's good stuff, Anne. And there'll be some more happening up there. Okay, so it's not done there for Tolga. So let's have a quick look at Atherton. But because not just Atherton, but let's have a quick look at Cairns as well. There's going to be a fair bit of weather starting up there. So today's sort of the first day where things got a little bit more interesting. It's been really boring up there in the North Tropical Coast. Townsville's been hogging it. Inland have been hogging it. Mackay's been hogging it. Everyone down south has been hogging it. You poor blokes and Sheilas have been struggling. All right, so here, things are going to change for you tomorrow. We're going to start to see a bit more going on. If we take a look here at the modelling, we can see now this by the way is only going to happen for a couple of days and it's all over, right? So don't get too comfortable. But as we go into 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, yeah, some nice opportunities, same sort of setup as today, maybe a little bit more than today around the place. And you can see there, particularly in the southern part, so Mareeba southward, so yeah, Tolga will be right in there, Mareeba, Atherton area, right? So fair chance there that we're going to see a bit more going on through that region for the next couple of days. As we get into Monday, I expect things to have moved a little bit further west of probably a little bit west of where it is here. Probably just west of the tablelands and maybe a bit northwest of the tablelands as well. But tomorrow, Sunday, and maybe Monday, it looks pretty active there. And then things should stabilise through the area and push more to the west and northwest. But at no stage are we looking at a really fine and sunny period. There's opportunities there for a couple of showers for the week. And then, of course, we need to watch what our little cyclone does up here. All right. Matt, love listening to you, Nitzo. Love hearing all the high-level technical talk. Good stuff, Matt. That's awesome. I love doing the technical stuff. I just don't want to... With our subscription service, the average forecast, I try and keep it in real easy stuff. And then the forecast I like to nerd out to is called the North Oz Tropics Watch. And I've been issuing that daily most days this season, and that's the one I get to be a nerd in, and I can actually talk about the technical stuff a bit more. That's the one. That's my little secret favourite one every day, because I do get to be a bit more of a nerd in that one, rather than go, it's going to rain here at this time of the day. I can actually talk a bit more about the technicalities, and that's what I love. That's what gets the juices flowing. Love listening. Yeah, no worries. Goodna, subscription is well worth it. Thanks, Goodna. Thank you for joining us. Humidity has been insane lately. Nice incoming storm tonight, Kennedy Cardwell. Yep, and more to come. Hey, listen, more to come, Shona, as I just showed you there. Saturday, Sunday, plenty more to come for the next couple of days. Great work. Bomb can't even get 2 maps to match. Mate, don't start me. Don't start me. The pre-workout wore off. Nitzo, when are we going to start drying out around Hewenden to the Curry? Now. I don't think there's going to be too much more out there. Let's have a look. I don't think there is much more out there right now. today was the last day of potential showers and thunderstorms in that area. Yeah. Yep, and you can see there are still a couple. They're pretty isolated today compared to the last few days, aren't they? You know, there's a few there, but no, you're pretty much done now for a little bit. So just to give you an idea, though, the showers and thunderstorms do return. So, you know, they're going to move north tomorrow, all up north. Then as we go through the week, see this little trough that starts to develop through the week? We just don't give that trough a lot of moisture. So the showers and storms will be like what you're seeing today. All right, mate? You'll get this sort of stuff where there'll be maybe 1 or 2 good storm cells, a couple little showers, just popping up randomly along the trough. But that trough will be north-south, not east-west. All right, so, and we'll see that basically all through the week, man. Take out a full membership and you'll never regret it. Good on you, Kelvin. Yeah, you blokes are doing it tough, so I'm hoping that we're right there. We do get a bit of a clearance now, and things might just settle down for you a bit. But listen, there are still going to be some showers and storms through the week, mate. But more in a north-south aligned line instead of a east-west. So not everyone along that entire Hughenden, Richmond, Mount Isa area is going to be getting it. It'll just be a north-south line. So it might be Hughenden turn to be on that line, and then it might be Richmond's turn to be on that line. Then it might be, you know, Charters Towers' turn to be on that line, depending on the day and where the trough sits. So it won't be the whole area copping it. So that's the positive out of that. Yeah, lightning south of Cairns, absolutely. Had a cracker of a storm in Townsville today. I know. I was just finishing in the gym and I was going to go out, and then bang, lightning strike. I'm like, as cool as that is, I like chasing cyclones. I don't like being underneath lightning strikes. They usually don't end well. Shona, much in the Kennedy. Yeah, Shona, we talked about that. Shona, we've got Saturday, Sunday, fair bit going on there. Lots of showers and thunderstorms. Then Monday, just some isolated showers. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a few showers, just isolated showers, mate. Nothing big. And then, of course, we don't know beyond that. Depends on what that cyclone does off the coast of Cooktown. Low off the coast of Cooktown. Can cyclones be steered by contours in sea surface temperatures? No. Peter, answer to your question there. I don't like saying yes and no to stuff, but no. Cyclones can't be steered by sea surface temperatures, sea surface currents. The Great Barrier Reef has no effect on a tropical cyclone whatsoever. Don't let any gibberer tell you otherwise. There's been some gibbering about the Great Barrier Reef trying to block cyclones and stuff like that. No, it doesn't have any effect whatsoever. No, mate, it's only the winds. Only the winds in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So not what's going on at the surface. You could be getting a 50 knot southeasterly and the cyclone could be moving straight into that wind, all right? But it's not what happens at the winds at the surface. It's about, in a weak cyclone, it's between 2 and 7 Ks up. In a stronger cyclone, it's between 3 and 10 Ks up. In a really strong cyclone, it's between sort of 5 and 10 Ks up is what we're looking for when it comes to steering. And there's we use some formulas in our steering maps at Weather IQ in our subscription service to give you an idea of what the steering is for each different type of system. Jade, yes, Emerald will get some more rain, but more so from just isolated showers and thunderstorms through the week. We do get that trough, as I just said to Kelvin, we do get a north-south trough, and on one particular day through the week, it might be Emerald's turn, but they'll miss out the other 4 days. So you'll get a storm at some stage over the next week, probably. But it'll be very hit and miss, mate. It's not going to be something that's going to be widespread that I'd be too concerned about, okay, Jade? Many thanks as always, Nitto. Helpful and informative. No worries, Melzy. Glad you joined us. Do you reckon Kununurra will cop it? No, I don't. Hard to say. I don't think so. I think. Let's have a look. Let's not gibber without having a proper look. We'll use Columbaroo. Kununurra's in here, isn't it? Next to Wyndham. Actually, let's use Wyndham. Kununurra's closer to Wyndham than Columbaroo. All right, what do we got? There's Kunna. Yeah, right. So, yeah, no. No, this is going to be very coastal through the Joseph Bonaparte area, and up through Columbaroo. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say you're not going to get anything. No, you're going to get something, but oh, geez, it's hard to get enthusiastic about your chances of picking up something big. Your best bet's maybe picking up a shower or storm on the southern part of the circulation. Like that's what I'd be expecting in the area. Nah, man, I'm not seeing anything big for Cunner. You need to be north of Wyndham, really. You need to be on the coast, out in the Joseph Bonaparte, or up around Columbaroo, mate. That's how you're going to get your big stuff. So that's for Lakey. Alan, love your work, Nitso. Can you explain why sea breeze appears to kill storms in Townsville? Yeah, we talked about this one last time, Alan. So go back 2 nights ago. I gave about a 5-minute spiel on it, mate. It's all to do with the sea breeze being relatively cold versus the warm air that the storm developed in. And in southeast Queensland, it doesn't always enhance them. No, it kills them down there too. It's just that in southeast Queensland, there's a slight difference between a northeasterly sea breeze and a northerly sea breeze. A northerly sea breeze likely enhances the thunderstorms. A northeasterly, and especially an east-northeasterly sea breeze, will kill the thunderstorms. And that comes down to the way the shear line operates around the mountain ranges, and also the properties of a northerly sea breeze are warmer, a little bit more humid, than the properties of an east-northeasterly sea breeze. And so the combination of those ingredients, but especially that shear line profile. So as the sea breeze boundary comes up, it operates in a different way from the north versus from the northeast, right? And so there's more time to weaken a thunderstorm if it comes in from the northeast. There's less time along the escarpment to weaken the thunderstorms if it's coming from the north. And it tends to kick off storms on the outskirts of the boundary. So they sort of almost jump into a next spot. There's actually a really good study done by a university down there about the sea breeze. And I don't know what university did it, but they studied the differences between how sea breezes kill storms in southeast Queensland and how sea breezes develop storms in southeast Queensland. And they found that the northerly, I'm paraphrasing, I'm pretty sure they found that the northerly enhances, the northeasterly kills in general. There's a lot more nuance than that, but that's the general idea. As we know in Townsville, northeasterly kills them all the time, right? But the other thing Southeast Queensland's got that we don't, mate, steering winds, right? They get their storms moving at 20 to 30 knots. We get our storms moving at 5 knots if we're lucky. So, yeah, that they've got a lot of time to kill. The sea breezes have got a lot of time to kill the storms in Townsville. They don't have much time to kill them as they come off the Toowoomba Range in Brisbane. Thanks, mate. Have time to have a beer. Yeah, me too. Maybe not a beer. I'm on a cut, so I'm trying to lose weight. Thanks, Nitso. Always appreciate you guys. Been a full subscriber for a few years. Anya Tanya, a weather station for your house. We got this question the other night. Oh, what's the name of the brand? It's on Amazon. It's one of the most popular stations on Amazon. It's a really good one for just a house station, mate. Let me find it. EcoWit. W5 WS2910 EcoWit. EcoWitt. You can't go wrong with one of those. They're pretty basic. They do the job. They cost you $100. If you can get them on special, they cost you $150, $200 max. If you don't get them on special, they might cost you closer to $250. Just wait. They're always on special every I don't know, few weeks. So if they're not on special right now, just give it a couple of weeks and get one from them. And Amazon's really good with returns and that sort of thing, mate. So you can't really go wrong. If you were looking for something a bit more pro, I'd steer you away from those and steer you towards something like a Davis. But if you're just a suburban house that just wants a weather station to know what's going on, EcoWit, that'll do you. $200. You're laughing. Connects to the internet. You can get yourself on the Wonder Map and that sort of thing. Yep. Raylene, hello. I saw something about the West Coast. Yeah, no, we've already talked about that, Raylene. No, I'm going through. All right, I think that's it. Loved hearing you the night of a possible cyclone here in Townsville, talking to our best mate Pricey. I love Pricey. I grew up with Pricey. We all grew up with Pricey in North Queensland. I just loved, he's a man I really, I really admire. And the fact that he's coming out of retirement just to help North Queenslanders through disasters and things like that, man, that's... Yeah, you can't say enough good stuff about Pricey, and he's a good guy. And there's Wildy as well, man. Wildy's been around for a long time too. For those of you that listen to Power 100, Wildy's he's just part of the furniture now. Wildy, he's been with you through the last 30 years of disasters as well, eh? So yeah, both of those guys, top blokes, and just really love hearing them on the radio, and really love how they support the community. Both of those guys, unbelievable people. All right, thanks very much for watching tonight, folks. Just remember, weatheriq.com.au/subscribe if you'd like to support our work. We'll talk to you again